Yo, what's up everyone, what's up here, back with another video, and today I'm diving into the Major 4 bracket. We have some huge matchups and some serious pressures as champs are right around the corner, and there are still some teams fighting for their champ spot. I'm going to be breaking down the entire bracket to see who wins each round, and who I think is going to lift that trophy. Alright, let's lock in and see who I think is going to win Major 4 at DreamHack. Alright, I'm going to be hopping in here to my bracket, starting with Miami Heretics versus the Minnesota Rocker. This is a big matchup for Minnesota. They have their champ slot on the line here. This is a must-win tournament. Not like win, but I think they need to get like at least top 4, and Optic needs to lose to even have a chance. So this is a must-win game. However, Miami did go into this tournament 5-0, so I think they'll probably come out and win this. I don't think it's gonna be a 3-0. Personally, I think it's probably gonna be 3-1 Miami. I think Miami takes the control, hard point, and search. Obviously, I guess it's not obvious. I honestly think Minnesota wins map 1, and then Miami win the next 3. Is my logic in this one. Yeah, that's just what I have. Maybe Minnesota can make the losers run, but we'll see the matchups later in the losers run. All right, we have LA Thieves versus Vancouver Surge at 130. I think they're doing back-to-back because of DreamHack. This is a tough matchup. I know LA Thieves just beat Vancouver 4-0 at Major 3 and won Major 3 champs. I personally right now think LA Thieves beat them. I don't think it's a 3-0 again. I think I could see it going last map, but I kind of also just see a 3-1 again. As weird as it is that they're both 3-1, I just see Vancouver winning a hard point. If anything, like Vancouver has to win the first hard point, and then I think LA Thieves just low-key win the next 3. I think it's kind of the similar thing that's going to happen with Miami. I just think the only way Minnesota wins, or Vancouver wins a game, just like Minnesota, is the first hard point. I think either way, if it goes best of 5, I think LA Thieves and Miami both still win. But yeah, that's my personal pick. Okay, moving down to the 3 o'clock one, we have Atlanta FaZe versus Cloud9. This one's pretty easy. I think it's self-explanatory. Atlanta FaZe is the one best team in the game right now, or second best team, however you look at it. They're 1A, 1B with LA Thieves, and Cloud9 hasn't really looked that great. I know they beat FaZe this qualifier, but that's online, and this is LAN, and I think Atlanta FaZe just are going to win. Minnesota is one of those teams that has their qualification spot on the line for champs and must win, so they might have that little bit extra oomph, but I still don't think it's going to matter. Atlanta against FaZe, I think FaZe just 3-0 them straight up. And then our next 3 o'clock match on Friday is Optic versus Toronto. This one is a little weird because Optic just played Toronto and 3-0'd them. The last Optic and Toronto's last map for the qualifier. Do I think it's going to happen again? So I'm kind of conflicted because Optic can play really good on LAN. Hook has been playing phenomenal. Merc pickup was good. Shotzi and Dashy kind of know what you're going to get for them. I think it comes down to how Toronto shows up to the LAN more than how Optic shows up. If Toronto shows up a little bit not 100%, I think Optic take it. I also think Optic has that slight pressure of it's almost somewhat a home major, that it's in Texas. They're probably going to have a lot of fans there. You know, the Green Wall, Optic Halo's playing at the same time. I think Optic's going to win. I think it's going to be 3-2, maybe map 5 type deal. I think Optic wins. Honestly, actually, that's kind of faded almost, I feel like, but that's what I'm going with. I just think, you know, it's kind of faded to pick because Optic definitely has less search maps, like reps, than Toronto, but part of me just believes that that's going to be what it is. They could 3-0 them again. Toronto could win. That one's kind of the most 50-50 out of all of these. Okay, now I'm heading down to the elimination round. We have Minnesota versus Boston. Boston, low-key, somehow always, like, pulls some shit out of their ass at land, like, make a round, like, top 6, top 8 lately. But Minnesota also has been playing pretty good, so I could see them. I'm going to take Minnesota here. I'm going to say it's going to go map 5. I think Kenny's experience and their young 3 guys, Nero, Gio, and Estrio, will kind of just, they could have a good day, and I think they need to have a good day, and I think they kind of know that. I don't think Boston has as much pressure. I think they're kind of set in stone in their champ spot and like where they're probably going to be in champs. So I think Minnesota just has that added extra pressure. I think they're going to have a rep earlier in the day against Miami. So that will give them some, extra. They'll have the stage presence. They'll already have been on stage. They'll have played a team already. And I think they'll just come out swinging, knowing like if they go home, their chance is completely over. So I think they'll use that to their advantage. Our next 4:30 match is Vancouver versus Falcons. As dumb as it is to say, I probably think this one's pretty easy. I'm taking a 3-0 Vancouver. Vancouver is such a good team. The fact that they just played LA Thieves first round is kind of a little bit of a shit matchup, but that's just the way it is. I think Vancouver's the better team by far. They're top 3, top 4 right now in the game. And I think that's pretty easy. Falcons have looked better since they've added Pred, Priesta, and Arcides, but Vancouver's still a better team, so I'm taking Vancouver. Our next elimination round 1 on Friday is Cloud9 versus Gentlemates. Again, this one's almost similar to the Vancouver Falcons one, but it's not the same just because, Vancouver's not as good a team as Cloud9. But I'm taking Cloud9. I'm going to say it's a 3-1. I think LAG has looked better recently. They had that crazy win against Optic. But I still think Cloud9's the better team. So I'm going to take Cloud9. And then our last match of the day is Toronto versus the Royal Ravens. Toronto's 3-0 in them. The Royal Ravens have looked terrible recently, and Toronto, again, similar to, I guess they got Optic. This could be Optic, too. Either way, I think Carolina loses this. It's kind of a good pull for both these teams. They kind of got a crappy pull to the winners, but their losers round 1 should be pretty good. So I think Toronto or Optic 3-0 Carolina. Carolina does not look good. They normally don't play good on land. And, yeah, I think Toronto's going to clean sweep, get this shit over and done with. Okay, and our last match of Friday, Minnesota will have played 3 matches in one day. So this could be, same thing with Vancouver, actually. Both these teams will have played 3 matches this day. This is a tough one. Vancouver's a really good team. They've looked really good at land recently. They've had 2 seconds in the last 2 majors. Part of me wants to pick Minnesota for the storyline. I guess it doesn't matter because Optic would have already had to lose. So if Optic wins 1 map, I think Minnesota has to win the major or come second. I don't really think that's going to happen. I'm not going to pick for the storyline. I think it'll be close-ish. I think it's going to be like 3-2 Vancouver. That's just my opinion. I think Vancouver wins both hard points. You know what? I'm going to pick 3-1. I think Vancouver wins both hard points, and I think Minnesota takes the search, and then Vancouver also wins the control, and it's going to be 3-1. That's really kind of how I see it. I don't see Minnesota winning a hard point against Vancouver. Vancouver's teamwork on Respawn is just so good. I think the only way they kind of slip is in search a little bit, and even then they don't really. I think just maybe Minnesota pulls the search, but that's about it. Okay, going to our first match on Saturday, we have Cloud9 versus Toronto Ultra. This should be pretty easy, too. I think Toronto's going to win. Honestly, 3-1. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. Toronto's a really good hardpoint team. Control, they'll probably beat them. I know a lot of people have talked about it in this game that hardpoint's the most weird game mode because crappy teams can beat better teams just because it's kind of flip floppy. But I think Toronto just has that teamwork down, similar to Vancouver, where they just kind of pull ahead of the worser teams. Like Cloud9's a bottom. What is it? They're the 9 through 12 team, so I think Toronto just beats them, and Cloud9 goes home, and their chance runs over. Okay, now we're up to our winners round 2. We have Miami versus LA Thieves. Miami's look good. They're 5-0 this split. LA Thieves has lost 2 games this split, but LA Thieves is going to win. I'm going to give them 3-1. I think Miami takes a search. I think LA Thieves take both the hard points and control. They definitely are going to take the control, so they at least have one map that are guaranteed. LA Thieves is the best control team in the game. Miami is an okay control team, not really the best. I think Miami's a better search team. They kind of play pretty good in search, but I think LA Thieves just has that firepower in search. I mean, in hardpoint, and I think they kind of just surpassed them. That's my personal opinion. Moving down to the third match of Saturday, winners round 2. We have Atlanta FaZe versus Optic. As much as I want to say Optic's gonna win, the Merculus pickup, Hook's gonna be frying. I think it's gonna go map 5. I'm picking FaZe to win. FaZe is just the better team. Simp, Abizi, Sally, and Draza have all looked phenomenal. MC is, I think, MVP or in the running for MVP this year for sure. He's just that guy lately. And they have Simp and Abizi, the Tiny Terrors, right behind him. And then Draza's just been filling his role perfectly this year. They looked really good. They kind of had a lackluster Major 3 for their standard. And I think they're going to come out and kind of prove themselves this major. So, yeah, I'm taking FaZe 3-2. I think they'll clutch up the search round map 5 and send Optic to losers. Okay, now we have our losers. Round 3 at 6 o'clock. On the bottom, we have Miami versus Toronto. This is definitely a good match. Miami's looked really good, especially on LAN. Toronto's looked okay recently. They haven't really looked the best ever since, they picked up Merc last major. He looked really good. They brought Beans back after all the visa issues. Beans has come back, but him and Jamie Insight have kind of been inconsistent. They did have that crazy comeback against Vancouver, and you would have thought that would have kind of carried them and they would have beat Vancouver, but they actually ended up losing 3-1. They lost the next 3 maps to Vancouver after a crazy comeback on that map. Jodeci's kind of been their hard carry recently, and I kind of see this map going 3-2 in favor of the Miami Heretics, just because I think Toronto can win a hard point and a control or 2 hard points. I think Miami just beats them on the searches. Honestly, Miami could win this 3-1 too, because they might be able to take a hard point. The reason I'm picking 3-2 is because I'm not sure about the control. I think Miami could win a hard point and the both searches, and then Toronto could take a hard point and control. But overall, I think Miami is going to take this one and beat Toronto. Our next match on Saturday, I believe the last match of Saturday, is Optic versus Vancouver. As an Optic fan, and I know a lot of Optic fans out there, I'm not the oldest Optic fan. I root for them because of the content they make. I also really love LA Thieves. Optic don't need to win this map. If this bracket is the way that it is, Optic will have made champs. They will get a top 6, I believe, or top 8 maybe. I think it's top 6. Top 6. So that will have solidified them in champs. I know that'll make a lot of people happy. I could see Optic winning this. I really could. There's a chance. They've looked better since picking up Merc. They could use the land buff type of stuff. They could use all those things. It's in Dallas, so they're going to be home. They're not going to have to be in a hotel or on a flight, and they're home in their area. They can have their food spots, drive their own cars, all that sort of stuff. I think that definitely helps. You're more comfortable. It's more like the normal days of like online COD. Vancouver has looked really good, but they've also had their struggles recently. Um, they're still a top 4 team, but Optic also is, if in their peak, a top 6, like 4 team, top 6 team. So this is kind of more of a 50-50. I'm low-key going to take Optic. I think they have a chance of winning this. Vancouver's looked really good the last 2 majors, and they've gone top 2s. But I'm going to take Optic. Just for the last major. I don't know, maybe they pull something. They start getting a little run before champs. I think they'll need it. Okay, and then we have our Sunday match. First match of the day is Optic versus Miami. It's a tough one. I know there's this curse with, like, most of the time when people go 5-0 online, they don't win or really do great in the LAN. I think Optic takes the map 1. I think Miami takes the map 2. Optics looks really good in control. It's really gonna come down to the fourth map, the second hardpoint, because I think if Optic takes map 1, they have a really good chance of winning this, because I'm pretty positive in them taking the control. I don't know if Miami takes map 1, that would mean Optic would have to reverse sweep, and I don't think they'll be able to beat Miami in that last search. Miami's look really good in search, but for the bias, I'm gonna take Optic 3-1. I think they win both hardpoints and the control, and Miami wins the search. If Optic loses that first hardpoint, Miami will win. That's my prediction. Alrighty, now we have winners finals. LA Thieves versus FaZe. Like I kind of said before, this is a 1-1, 1A, 1B type situation. LA Thieves and FaZe are the 2 best teams in the game. They intertwine. FaZe won the first 2. LA Thieves won the last 1. Honestly, whoever loses this is going to go down and beat Optic. I'll tell you, spoiler. That's the way it is. I'm going to pick FaZe. I think it's going to go 3-2. I just think they'll win this one. They'll come out a little hotter, and I think it honestly will help Thieves in the long run. I don't think they'll think that. Obviously, they want to win just because you want to win, play less games, less chance of losing. But yeah, I think FaZe is going to win this 3-2. And then we're going to come down to the losers finals. LA Thieves versus Optic is what I have. LA Thieves is going to win 3-1. Maybe even 3-0. I think Search, LA Thieves beat them. I honestly think one of the hard points will be LA Thieves will take. Honestly, Optics look really good in control, which is really weird that I'm saying this over LA Thieves. I think Optic could beat them in control, but I also think they could take a hard point. So one of them, they'll take one hard point and maybe the control. If Optic takes the control, there's a chance they win it. But I think LA Thieves is still the better team, and I think they're going to come out and beat Optic and go back to winners final, or just grand finals against FaZe. All right. Shocker. Our grand finals, like I said before, I kind of already spoiled it, is Atlanta FaZe versus LA Thieves. This is going to be the matchup of the year. These are the 2 best teams. I think at champs, this will probably be the finals. Unless something changes in this major where they kind of shit the bed and you're like, oh shit, what's going to happen for champs? This is the 2 best teams in the game. They look really good right now. Both teams. They both kind of struggled in online qualifiers. I know FaZe went 4-1, and I think LA Thieves went 3-2, which is not really like them. I'm pretty sure LA Thieves did kind of similar last major, and I think like last major qualifiers. And I think LA FaZe kind of did the same. I don't think either of them really care about online qualifiers. They kind of know, like, they want to win, but I don't think they really care about it. But it is what it is. I'm gonna go through map by map. I think LA Thieves is gonna win map 1. I think FaZe is gonna win map 2. I think LA Thieves is gonna win the control. I think they'll win the hard point search. And I believe it's another control. If I'm not mistaken. I think FaZe is a better search team than Thieves, but I think Thieves is a better respawn team. But Thieves could also win the search. I honestly, right now, think Thieves is the better team. They were made for a reason to beat FaZe. But I think LA Thieves is the better team. They're going to be my pick to win this major. I just think they go back to back, and then for champs, it kind of decides who's the best team this year. FaZe wins the first two. These win the second two. Comes down to champs. Maybe a little bit of EWC. Who's the best team in the game? I think that's kind of just how it is. It's almost similar to FaZe beat LA Thieves first major in finals. Then LA Thieves kind of had a crappy major 2. FaZe won. FaZe kind of had a crappy major 3. Thieves won. It'd only be right for them to match up in major 4 and Thieves to win. I had the script type of thing, but I think LA Thieves gonna win it. That's my full major 4 bracket. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree. Let me know who you think is gonna win. This tournament definitely has some serious implications for champs, so I think it's gonna get really spicy. If you're enjoying these breakdowns, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my next videos. Until next time, I'll see you next one. Peace.